Today we will learn the order of operations for operations that involve decimals. So let's review how the order of operations works. Okay, you have to have this memorized. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. It goes with the first letter of that sentence. P for parentheses, E for exponents, M for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, S for subtraction. Now, if you remember the order, that means here you have to kind of be a little bit careful. The multiplication and division, even though it says my dear Aunt Sally, M is before D, they weigh the same. You do them from left to right. And when you have addition and subtraction together, you also do these guys left to right as well. Now that you remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, let's apply it. Let's say I have a series of addition and subtraction. 2.3 plus, let's clean this up, 2.3 plus 3.8 minus 1.6 minus 2.3. Here they are. If I'm using, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, now I know that addition and subtraction, they weigh the same, so I have to do them from left to right. So let's do that. 2.3 plus 3.8, that's 6.1. Let's do the next one. 6.1 minus 1.6, 4.5. And lastly, 4.5 minus 2.3, that's 2.2. So that's the answer. Let's do an example where I have multiplication and division mixed together and I have to do them left to right. 2.2 times 3 divided by 1.6 times 4 divided by 2.2. Now you have to remember the multiplication doesn't come before division or vice versa. You have to do them from left to right. So let's do it. 2.2 times 3 is simply 6.6. Now I'm going to do the next one. 6.6 divided by 1.6 is 4.125. 4.125 multiplied by 4 is 16.5. And 16.5 divided by 2.2 is 7.5, which is the answer. Now let's review some exponents. Remember how exponents work. You have a base and you have an exponent. What that means, this base is repeated 3 times by itself. So this many times as the exponent there, and you can actually go and multiply left to right. 2.2 times 2.3 times 2.3 times 2.3, and you at the end you will get 12.167. Now let's throw in some parentheses and do another more difficult example. 2 times 3.1 minus 1.6 plus 3.1 minus 1.6 times 2. How does that work? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally says I need to go to the parentheses and do this one first. 3.1 minus 1.6, that is 1.5. Now between the 1.5 and 2 I have a multiplication, and then here is an addition, so I can just multiply these two first, which will give me 3. So this is what I have. 3 plus 3.1 minus 1.6 times 2. Now I have a subtraction and multiplication. Which one goes first? The multiplication has to go first. So I do that. 1.6 times 2, 3.2. And let's rewrite 3 plus 3.1 minus 3.2. Okay, now you have to do that from left to right. 3 plus 3.1 is 6.1 minus 3.2, and that will simply give you 2.9, which is the answer. Now let's do another example where I have some exponents. 2.1 to the 0th power times 3.6 divided by 2 plus 1.2 divided by 2. Alright, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally says I need to do the exponents first. 2.1 to the 0th power is simply 1. 1 times 3.6 is simply 3.6. So the first one is 3.6. So you have 3.6 divided by 2 plus 1.2 divided by 2. Now I have a division, an addition, and a division. Which one goes first? The divisions have to go first. 3.6 divided by 2, that's 1.8. Then I have plus 1.2 divided by 2, that's 0.6. And all I have is an addition, and the result of the addition is simply 2.4. Let's do one more example where I have the fraction bar, which means the division. So let's try 2.3 minus 0.6 times 0.7 divided by 3.2 squared plus, let's throw in some parentheses in there, 0.6 times, in parentheses let's have 20 minus 3.1 squared. So this is a pretty complex problem. Now the fraction bar means you're dividing, but there is as if there are some invisible parentheses in the numerator and in the denominator. So the fraction bar works as if there is a grouping situation going on. So let's do the numerator first. You simply have 2.3, and since multiplication comes before subtraction, I have to multiply 0.6 and 0.7, which is 0.42. So that takes care of the numerator. All I have to do is just one subtraction at the end. Now, so in the numerator I have 2.3 minus 0.42. In the denominator I need to do the exponents first, and I have 20 minus 3.1 squared, and that is going to give me 3.1 squared is 9.61, and I have 20 minus 9.61 right here, and then I have 0.6 that stays the same. I can also do the exponent. Now I'm doing this denominator right here. The exponent 3.2 squared is simply 10.24. So I have a situation where I have 10.24 plus 0.6. Now I need to subtract 20 minus 9.61, and that is 10.39. Now let's subtract the numerator. The numerator 2.3 minus 0.42, that's going to be 1.88. In the denominator you have 10.24. So let's multiply 0.6 and 10.39, and that will give you 6.234. Now you have a numerator, and all you have to do is just add these two numbers in the denominator, and that will give you 1.88 divided by, when you add, you get 16.474. And the last thing you do, since this is a grouping symbol, now you can just divide 1.88 by 16.474, and that will simply give you 0.1141. I just stopped at 4 digits at this point.